Broncos soccer. See the W right there? The W stands for Western. See the horse head in there? That's a Bronco. Western Michigan University Broncos. I came over here just after I got done at Kalamazoo FC. Just about 2 miles across town. Not far. As you guys can see, the businesses over there. Kind of in the middle of nowhere. See, this gate's locked. This gate's locked. That's all right though. I have a feeling we might find our way in though. You guys can see just some bunch of grass off in the corner there. I wouldn't say this is a farmer's league. I don't know necessarily if it's a farmer's team, but definitely in the middle of nowhere. No alcohol permitted. Got to be the only sign on Western Michigan's campus that says that, no alcohol permitted. So Western Michigan University, like I said, if you've seen my last episode on Kalamazoo FC, it's right here in Kalamazoo, about 3 hours west of Detroit, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours northwest of Chicago. Western Michigan University, public university founded in 1903 by Dwight B. Waldo. You'll see the name Waldo on the football field. I think it's called Waldo Field or something like that. I don't know. That's where the football team plays. I just drove by it. It's a really nice stadium. They had, I think it was the basketball arena or the hockey arena right next to the football stadium, right next to the baseball stadium, right next to the softball stadium. So, nice little sports complex center. Although this one's a little bit off the beaten path. And it is just called the WMU Soccer Complex. There's no special name or any branding on it, just WMU Soccer Complex. This university was founded in 1903, and as of fall 2019, which was almost 3 years ago now, the enrollment was 21,470. Here's the scoreboard. The colors are black and gold. Sometimes they put brown in it. As you guys can see, Western Michigan Broncos. The big W. There's Battle Creek. Battle Creek is the place where they have the Kellogg's factory. It's not far away from here. Here, let's see if you guys can see over it. I can barely see. This is my first lap around the stadium, so let's see if there's a gate open somewhere. Although, judging by the locks, doesn't look like it. Grass looks beautiful. You can see the benches over there. Those are nice benches. Nice covering. See WMUBroncos.com off in the distance there. As you guys can see, this is like a business complex. It's nice and quiet over here. Some nets, so in case they blast it over. You guys can't see, through the sign right here, it's backwards, but that says MAC, Mid-American Conference. That's the conference that they play in. Oh, what does that say? 2003 and 2017 men's championships. I know it says it backwards, but there you go. MAC, Mid Athletic Conference. Most of the teams they play against would be from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. So you get a lot of the teams in the Midwest and the Mid-American Conference. Looks like we got some more accomplishments over here. That just says Broncos.com. Yep, there's MAC. 2003, 2013, 2015 women's championships. So it looks like the women got one more than the men. There's the W. That's the old school W. That's the one that they used to have back in the day. Back in the black and white television days. Here you go. Here's the whole state. Not just the lower half of the mitten, but the rabbit up there too, the Upper Peninsula. We must unite. WMU, we must unite. I like that. Here we go. Now you can see the whole stadium open up right here. It's all covered up going around. They don't want anybody looking inside their stadium. Here you go, right over here though. This thing's got more locks on it than Fort Knox does. It's another one. Yeah. One of the cool things about this being off, I don't know if you guys can see it, there's a deer right there. You see that right there? That's a deer. Just went running. It's looking at me. Here, let's get it. See if we can get a closer view. See, look, there's the stands right there. Little grass. There it is. Look. There's another one up there too. It's looking right at me. It's mean mugging the hell out of me. Look at it. Hey, deer. There it goes. There's a little baby deer off there looking at me. There's another one. Man, there's a bunch of them over here. WMU soccer complex. You can catch a game, look at the deer. Although I'm sure when the deer hear everybody screaming, they get scared and run off. But see, look. Up there in the hills, there's the deer. They're looking at me scared as hell. Don't worry. It's just a GoPro, it's not a shotgun. There's the press box where all the WMU supporters sit. All right, so I'm looking at the men's program and a little bit about their history. They started back in the early 1970s. I think it was 1974, 72, somewhere around there. Their best season ever, we walked by earlier the little decal on the side there, how it said 2017, and I'm actually looking at it, and 2017 was definitely their best season. They went 17-4-1, which was by far and away the most wins that they've ever had in one season. Before that, they hit 12 a couple times, so 12 was their most ever wins. But then back in 2017, they got the 17 wins. They went 17-4-1, 5-0-0 in conference, didn't lose or draw a single game. That year, let's see here, they beat Michigan in season 1-0, but lost to Michigan State 1-0. And then they went on to beat West Virginia in their conference tournament. And in case some of you guys are wondering why they're playing West Virginia in their conference tournament, it's because the Big 12 doesn't have a conference. So teams like West Virginia, who are usually in the Big 12, got to play in places like the MAC. You guys can see the women's championships right over there. It says 2013, 2003, 2015. But then they ended up losing to Akron in the final, and Akron is a powerhouse in college soccer. So then when it came to the NCAA tournament, they ended up beating Albany in the second round. They got a first round bye. They won 2-0, and then they ended up losing to MSU for the second time that year, 2-1 in the third round. So that was the best season in Western Michigan Bronco history. The very next year, they went 11-6-3, which was not a bad year, but 1-1-2 in conference. And they ended up getting bounced out in their conference championship game by Akron again. So, lift it up so you guys can see again. I can't find a way, and I've been looking everywhere. There's not even a little gate that's open, so this is the closest we're gonna get to the field. As you guys can see, it's just one stand over there. I actually really like this stadium, just like in the middle of nowhere. 2003, they actually had their second best win total. They went 12-7-2, 3-2-1 in the conference, which they finished third in. Get it over so you guys can see the field. Let's see. That year they won at Louisville 1-0. They lost at Michigan 2-1, and they lost at Michigan State 1-0. However, that year they beat Marshall in the quarterfinals 1-0, and then they ended up beating Akron in a shootout, which the game finished 0-0. You gotta love 0-0 shootout games, 120 minutes and no goals. And then they ended up beating Bowling Green 5-0 in the MAC championship game to clinch an automatic berth in the NCAA tournament, in which they ended up bowing out to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, 4-1. So looks like that's, I think that's the only 2 times that they've ever appeared in the tournament. There's a little look again through here. Guess another lock. Yeah, not getting in today. It's another look at the scoreboard. Another thing too I found out that was very interesting, Brandon Bai, the guy who I was just talking about at Kalamazoo FC, he actually graduated from Western Michigan University. He graduated, I'm not sure, looked like it was 2017 or 18, but he won, what was it, National Honors of the Year? So I think he was one of the smart guys. They've also had 2 other guys drafted. Okay, so looking up their award winners, he was a Hermann Trophy semifinalist, which is like the Heisman Trophy for soccer, back in 2017. He was also a National Scholar Athlete of the Year in 2017, voted for by the United Soccer Coaches Association. As far as their draft picks go, they have had 3, which is Brandon Bai, Drew Shepard, and Eric Pagyu. 2 of which were New England Revolution players, 1 of which was a Toronto FC player. But yeah, here's the stadium one more time. The Farmers Stadium. You can see nobody's here, just me. All right, so a little bit about the women's program here. They are, looks like 1, 2, 3, 3-time conference champions. So back in 2003, they won their first ever conference championship against Bowling Green, beating them 4-1 right here in Kalamazoo. The next time was in 2013 against Ball State, this time at Eastern Michigan's ground in Ypsilanti. They beat them 1-0. They also beat Eastern in the semis right before that, their arch rival. And then in 2015, they won again right here in Kalamazoo, 2-0 against Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio. And go over their tournament history a little bit. In 2003, after they qualified automatically, they beat Illinois in the first round 2-0, but then lost to Illinois' Big Ten rival Purdue in the next round 3-2. Let's walk around here, see if we can get it from a different angle. Then in 2013, they beat Marquette. No, not Marquette, Michigan, but Marquette in Wisconsin. They beat them 1-0, but then lost to the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in the next round 1-0. And then in 2015, when they qualified, they bowed out to Florida in the first round 1-0. So there's a little history of the women's program right there for you. As you guys can see right here, here's the back. Some businesses, some fields, and WMU soccer complex. Get it from this angle so you guys can see. This is probably the best shot that we're gonna see. I don't know if you guys can read it, but that beige building up top, it just says WMU soccer complex. It says, welcome to the zoo and home of the Broncos. Some Bronco heads all around.